Who actually runs the Republican Party? I'm not asking rhetorically. The GOP is out of power in Congress, but the former Majority Leader McConnell is the person who is said to lead the party in the Senate. He was chosen by his colleagues, as does Kevin McCarthy in the House. McCarthy preparing to staff this January 6th commission for investigation, and he's now taking a trip that suggests who really runs the party right now. McCarthy headed to Trump's private New Jersey golf club today, basically doubling down on his own reversal. After the insurrection, he said Trump bore responsibility for the riot. Now he's been working feverishly to give Trump cover. And a new book that is making waves, I Alone Can Fix It, by Washington Post reporters, states that as the rioters were targeting Pence, Trump did not express any hope that Pence was okay, didn't try to call him. He just stayed in the dining room watching TV. We should note NBC News has not separately confirmed the book's reporting. There's also reports of how seriously military officials were bracing for Donald Trump to stage a coup. I repeat, the military, not outside critics or observers, concerned about whether Trump would actually lead a coup. He was taking certain steps, like installing loyalists in Pentagon positions, which was an odd thing to do when you only have a few days left on the clock. Now, some of this sounds familiar. I told you it's brand new reporting in this big book, but it may sound familiar because there were people who reported on those suspicious moves at the time and raised some of these concerning questions, the kind of questions most people never want to raise about their own country. What's new here is the high-level military sourcing. But as far back as December, MSNBC's Rachel Maddow was all over the shakeup.
It was only a week after Trump lost re-election that he fired the defense secretary, Mark Esper. It wasn't just the defense secretary. It was a whole bunch of the top positions at the Defense Department. We lost in very quick succession the Pentagon intelligence chief, the Pentagon policy chief, the Pentagon chief of staff. We have been wondering what Trump has been up to with what he's been doing at the Defense Department. It has been unsettling what we've been able to see them doing there, but the point of it really hasn't been clear.
The point of it hadn't been clear, or at least not clear in the journalistic sense that you carefully report what's happening before you add on why it's happening. And why was it happening? Well, officials inside the Pentagon were concerned that it was happening because of an illicit plot that might materialize if Trump could get away with it, if he could pull it off. Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley looked at the scenarios where Trump might try to gain sway over the alphabet soup of the national security apparatus, the FBI, the CIA, the DOD. And he warned his own team Trump was stoking unrest, possibly in the hopes of an excuse to invoke the Insurrection Act. Milley telling aides he feared it could be the modern equivalent of brown shirts in the streets. That's a U.S. general referencing the paramilitary forces that protected Nazi rallies and enabled Hitler's rise to power. Chilling. Now, days before January 6th, Milley also told aides this is a Reichstag moment, the gospel of the Fuhrer. This theme also figures into a new book from the Wall Street Journal's Michael Bender. Frankly, we did win this election. It quotes Trump privately claiming, quote, well, Hitler did a lot of good things, with his astounded chief of staff reportedly replying, you cannot say anything supportive of Adolf Hitler. You just can't. I mean, what do you even say to that one? Now, Trump denies all these reports. It's my job as a journalist to tell you that side of it. Those former generals, meanwhile, declined the opportunity to comment to NBC News on what they're alleged to have said and observed and done. Now, in the end, there are also no public reports that Donald Trump actually tried to order the military to stage a coup, which is to say that a lot of people inside were worried he would, that he was taking steps to do so, but that for whatever reason, self-interested or otherwise, he didn't get up to the point to pull that off. His resistance, though, is well documented. People will go to jail for it. That's a fact. And it boiled down to summoning his supporters to Washington, D.C., where they led a criminal insurrection plot, a plot that they would bear the brunt of responsibility for, not him, never him.